If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns selection of Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the NFL Draft immediately generated waves across the league, and it wasn't just because of his on-field capabilities. From the moment his name was called, everyone understood that bringing in Sanders meant more than adding a talented quarterback to the roster. It meant inheriting the legacy and expectations tied to one of football's most recognizable families. The pressure would inevitably follow him everywhere he went, whether he stepped onto the field as a starter or as a backup. Every throw, every decision, and every outcome would be dissected by media, fans, and former players alike. Sanders, despite being QB4 on the Browns' depth chart, instantly became a talking point, a conversation starter, and a benchmark for both hope and scrutiny. In a league that thrives on narratives, his last name guarantees that his journey will be under the microscope from day one. The intrigue surrounding Sanders isn't merely about football skill. It's about storylines, character, and the enduring fascination of the NFL with legacy. Urban Meyer, a legendary figure in college football, recently weighed in on Sanders in a manner that combined admiration, insight, and a clear understanding of what it takes to succeed in the NFL. Known for turning struggling programs into championship contenders, Meyer has an eye for talent and leadership that transcends simple statistics or highlight reels. When asked about Sanders, Meyer did not mince words, offering praise that emphasized the young quarterback's ability to navigate adversity and lead a team through challenging circumstances. "I know what I saw," Meyer explained, highlighting Sanders' quick-thinking ability to get out of pressure situations and his innate leadership qualities. In his assessment, Meyer underscored that Sanders possesses the skill set, character, and determination necessary to succeed at the professional level, pointing out that his development would ultimately hinge on the surrounding personnel, coaching, and system rather than his individual talent alone. Meyer went further, articulating a vision of Sanders as a quarterback capable of making a profound impact if given the proper environment. He referenced Sanders' collegiate success, noting how the young quarterback transformed what many considered a struggling program into one that achieved remarkable results. In doing so, Meyer illustrated a point that is often overlooked in discussions about NFL prospects. Leadership is not measured merely by passing yards or touchdowns, but by a player's ability to galvanize teammates, inspire confidence, and elevate the performance of those around him. Sanders, according to Meyer, embodies these traits to an exceptional degree. While critics may question whether a 5th-round pick can make waves in the NFL, Meyer's endorsement sends a clear message that Sanders' potential is enormous, and that he should not be underestimated based solely on draft position. The conversation surrounding Sanders' draft position is unavoidable, as many expected a player of his pedigree and talent to go earlier. Watching him fall to the 5th round was a shock to analysts, fans, and even casual observers, yet it serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of the NFL draft. Factors such as team needs, perceived ceiling, and even marketability often influence draft order, meaning that talent does not always correlate perfectly with draft status. For Sanders, falling to the 5th round may have been a blessing in disguise, providing him with an opportunity to develop without the immediate pressures typically associated with higher draft picks. It gives him a chance to learn behind established quarterbacks, adjust to the speed of the professional game, and grow into his role organically, which can sometimes lead to more sustainable long-term success. Despite the low draft selection, the Browns' commitment to Sanders is evident through the way they integrate him into team activities, meetings, and practice sessions. While he begins as QB4 on the depth chart, the organization appears to recognize the potential for him to evolve into a contributor sooner than expected. The conversations among coaches, front office personnel, and veteran players reflect a shared acknowledgement that talent like Sanders is rare and worth nurturing. He may not start immediately, but his preparation, engagement, and leadership during training and practice will lay the foundation for future opportunities. In the NFL, patience is as valuable as skill, and the Browns seem determined to ensure that Sanders has the guidance and experience necessary to thrive when his time arrives. For Sanders himself, the journey is both a challenge and a chance to establish his own identity independent of familial legacy. The shadow of his last name carries both benefits and burdens, drawing attention and scrutiny that few other rookies experience. Yet, with every practice rep, every film study session, and every preseason appearance, Sanders has the opportunity to define who he is as a quarterback. His resilience and approach to adversity will be crucial in shaping how teammates, coaches, and the broader football community perceive him. The transition from college to professional football is rarely seamless, but for Sanders, it's not only about performance. It's about character, adaptability, and demonstrating that he belongs in the league regardless of draft position or family reputation. Analysts continue to debate the timing and likelihood of Sanders taking over as a starter during the season. Injuries, performance issues, and the natural ebb and flow of an NFL campaign often create openings for backup quarterbacks, and Sanders could find himself in such a position sooner than anticipated. While projections are inherently speculative, his demonstrated ability to lead a team in college suggests that he possesses the mental fortitude and football intelligence to capitalize on any opportunity. Fans watching Browns practices and preseason games will likely be looking for signs of growth, command of the huddle, and confidence in decision-making. These intangible qualities, combined with physical talent, could make Sanders a candidate for meaningful playing time even in his rookie season, adding a layer of excitement to Cleveland's offensive narrative. The dialogue surrounding Sanders extends beyond football mechanics to discussions of mentorship, coaching, and team culture. Veteran quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, and position coaches will play an instrumental role in shaping his development. Learning a professional offense, adjusting to faster defensive schemes, and navigating complex playbooks are significant hurdles for any rookie quarterback. However, Sanders' exposure to competitive environments and his documented ability to handle pressure provide a framework for overcoming these challenges. The Browns' coaching staff faces the task of balancing patience with readiness, ensuring that Sanders is neither rushed prematurely nor held back unnecessarily. How they manage this delicate process could define the trajectory of his career and potentially influence the future of the franchise's quarterback situation. Media coverage, fan discussions, and social platforms have amplified the focus on Sanders since the draft, creating an environment in which every action is analyzed and every word scrutinized. Interviews, practice observations, and even social media interactions are interpreted as indicators of his potential, composure, and readiness. While this level of attention can be overwhelming, it also offers an opportunity for Sanders to establish a positive public persona, demonstrate leadership, and communicate directly with fans. Handling scrutiny gracefully, maintaining focus on football fundamentals, and fostering relationships with teammates are equally critical components of his growth. How Sanders navigates this spotlight could be as telling as his on-field performance, offering insight into his character, professionalism, and capacity to thrive under pressure. Ultimately, Shedeur Sanders' journey with the Cleveland Browns will be defined by a combination of preparation, opportunity, and adaptability. Urban Meyer's glowing assessment underscores that talent and character are evident to those who observe closely, but recognition alone does not translate into NFL success. Sanders must consistently earn the trust of his coaches, teammates, and the fan base, using each practice, snap, and game as a step toward legitimacy. The narrative surrounding him is compelling. A talented quarterback with an iconic name, entering the league with both expectation and skepticism. Whether he becomes a franchise cornerstone or a valuable backup, the story is just beginning, and Cleveland's faithful are poised to witness every chapter unfold with anticipation, excitement, and hope. Even with the initial hype and high-profile endorsements, the reality of NFL competition remains unforgiving. Every player, regardless of lineage or draft round, must prove their worth on the field, week after week, against the best athletes in the world. For Sanders, this is the ultimate test, translating collegiate success into professional consistency, managing the complexities of NFL defenses, and demonstrating that he can perform under the intense spotlight of national scrutiny. His ability to absorb coaching, learn from mistakes, and grow both mentally and physically will determine whether he can ascend from a developmental prospect to a legitimate starting quarterback. Fans, analysts, and commentators alike will be watching, dissecting, and debating each performance, ensuring that Sanders' journey is followed with the kind of fervor reserved for those with both talent and pedigree. In the final analysis, Sanders represents both a symbol of potential and a tangible addition to a Cleveland Browns roster eager for quarterback stability. His story is emblematic of the modern NFL, where legacy, skill, and narrative intertwine to shape the public perception of a player. The challenges he faces are immense, but so too are the opportunities. From practicing behind established veterans to gradually earning snaps in live games, Sanders has a structured path to prove himself. Urban Meyer's endorsement serves as both validation and a reminder of what's possible, highlighting that success in football often hinges on more than natural ability. It's about leadership, resilience, and character. As the Browns prepare for the season, one thing is certain. Shedeur Sanders' journey will be watched, celebrated, and critiqued in equal measure, and every step he takes will contribute to the unfolding story of one of the NFL's most intriguing young quarterbacks. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Whispers around the NFL landscape are heating up, and the latest spark comes from Cleveland, where the Browns reportedly made a quiet, almost under-the-radar move that could shake up their quarterback room. Sources close to team operations suggest Sam Darnold, once a first-round pick with high expectations in Carolina and New York, has signed a deal with Cleveland. While the specifics of the contract remain murky, insiders hint it's a low-risk, cost-effective arrangement, likely designed to give the Browns insurance behind their current starters. Fans have reacted with a mix of curiosity and skepticism, questioning whether Darnold can finally stabilize a position that has been notoriously volatile for Cleveland over the years. Meanwhile, social media buzz has exploded, with highlight reels of Darnold's flashes of brilliance being resurrected and scrutinized, as fans and analysts alike debate if this is a shrewd tactical acquisition or merely a gamble born from necessity rather than ambition. The timing of this signing also raises eyebrows across the league, coinciding with a flurry of other quarterback movements that suggest teams are hedging their bets more than ever. Darnold's journey has been the subject of much speculation since his entry into the NFL, a narrative filled with both promise and turbulence, injuries, and inconsistent supporting cast shaping his reputation. Cleveland's front office, known for occasionally bold yet calculated maneuvers, appears to be signaling a willingness to explore alternatives without committing to long-term, high-cost options. The rumor mill hints that Darnold's presence might push existing quarterbacks to elevate their game, or perhaps create internal competition that could have ripple effects on team dynamics. Commentators have begun weighing in, theorizing that this signing might be part of a broader strategy to maintain flexibility in free agency while safeguarding against unforeseen circumstances, such as injury or performance issues. The notion of Darnold as a low-cost, high-upside gamble resonates with a Browns fan base hungry for stability at a position that has been elusive for decades. Inside sources suggest that Darnold's arrival might also influence Cleveland's draft approach in the upcoming NFL draft, with the team potentially reconsidering their investment in quarterback prospects depending on his performance in camp. Conversations within league circles hint that Darnold, if utilized strategically, could become a situational player, a mentor to younger quarterbacks, or even a bridge starter, capable of guiding the team through transitional periods. Rumors swirl about the possibility of unconventional schemes tailored to his strengths, emphasizing mobility, quick reads, and a limited but efficient passing attack designed to minimize mistakes while maximizing impact. Analysts are quick to speculate on whether this experiment could succeed where others have faltered, considering Darnold's history of flashes of excellence juxtaposed with moments of struggle. Fans, meanwhile, are dissecting every tweet, video, and insider report, eager to determine whether Cleveland's front office has discovered a hidden gem or merely a temporary placeholder in a perpetually uncertain quarterback landscape. The market dynamics surrounding quarterbacks this offseason are also contributing to the chatter, as teams increasingly favor short-term, low-risk acquisitions to manage salary cap flexibility. Darnold, with his relatively modest contract, fits neatly into this paradigm, potentially allowing the Browns to allocate resources to other positions while keeping their quarterback room competitive. League insiders speculate that Darnold's presence might affect trade rumors, free agent negotiations, and even coaching strategies, as his arrival could necessitate adjustments in play calling, practice routines, and team hierarchies. Some pundits are already painting scenarios in which Darnold's career experiences a renaissance in Cleveland, leveraging the team's talent and scheme to unlock untapped potential. Conversely, critics caution that repeated transitions between teams have historically hindered quarterback development, raising questions about whether this move signals a genuine opportunity for growth or merely a continuation of a tumultuous career path. Either way, the conversation around Darnold has reignited, and the Browns have found themselves at the epicenter of an intriguing narrative that refuses to die down. Rumors indicate that the coaching staff is cautiously optimistic, highlighting Darnold's work ethic, adaptability, and potential to execute complex offensive schemes. Conversations behind the scenes suggest a deliberate plan to integrate him gradually, avoiding the pitfalls that have plagued his previous stops, while simultaneously evaluating how he meshes with existing team leaders and offensive strategies. Observers speculate that his performance in preseason and training camp could define the Browns' quarterback hierarchy, potentially shifting long-standing expectations and impacting decisions on draft picks or future free agent pursuits. Social media chatter, already lively, has escalated into a full-blown discussion forum, with fans creating mock depth charts, hypothetical play calls, and animated debates about Darnold's fit and ceiling in Cleveland. Analysts emphasize that while his signing may seem understated, the ramifications could be far-reaching, influencing not only the Browns' approach to the quarterback position but also broader league trends around cost-effective, high-risk, high-reward acquisitions in a free agent market increasingly defined by strategic experimentation. Speculation also touches on the mental and psychological aspects of Darnold's career revival, as insiders suggest Cleveland's environment could provide the stability and support system necessary for him to flourish. Team culture, coaching philosophies, and locker room dynamics are all cited as critical factors that might determine whether he regains confidence, sharpens decision-making, and ultimately becomes a reliable contributor. Industry chatter hints that the Browns' leadership views Darnold not just as a transactional piece, but as a potential catalyst for broader team cohesion, with his experience serving to mentor younger players while simultaneously pushing competition within the quarterback room. Betting odds, fan forums, and analyst predictions are abuzz with conjecture, as the football world speculates on whether this signing signals a quiet strategic coup, a calculated risk, or simply a low-cost contingency plan. The intrigue surrounding his presence has sparked renewed interest in Cleveland's off-season moves, casting a spotlight on what might otherwise have been a routine free agent acquisition. Some insiders even suggest that Darnold's addition could have ripple effects beyond the Browns' locker room, potentially influencing league-wide strategies for managing backup quarterbacks and bridging uncertain transitions. Teams observing Cleveland's approach may reconsider the merits of similar deals, weighing cost against upside while analyzing potential scheme fit, developmental opportunities, and team chemistry. Discussions among analysts point to a growing trend in the NFL of acquiring quarterbacks who are seen as reclamation projects, players whose early career struggles might be mitigated by favorable environments and intelligent coaching. Rumors hint that the Browns could become a template for this strategy if Darnold flourishes, potentially redefining how franchises perceive value in the free agent quarterback market. Meanwhile, fans continue to dissect every piece of available information, creating a feedback loop of excitement, speculation, and cautious optimism that fuels the narrative around Darnold's new chapter in Cleveland, keeping the rumor mill spinning at full speed. The timing of Darnold's deal also dovetails with broader discussions regarding the Browns' offensive identity, as insiders speculate that his skill set could necessitate innovative play designs or a hybrid approach blending traditional dropback passing with designed quarterback runs and quick reads. Analysts suggest that this might create a dynamic, unpredictable element to the team's attack, potentially giving Cleveland an edge over opponents who are accustomed to more conventional signals. Rumors from the training facility indicate that coaches are experimenting with personnel combinations, assessing chemistry between Darnold and key offensive weapons, while also considering backup options in case adjustments are required. Fans have latched onto this speculation with enthusiasm, envisioning scenarios in which Darnold revitalizes underutilized talents, elevates situational play, or becomes a surprisingly effective game manager. The narrative unfolding suggests that the Browns may have quietly orchestrated a move that could reverberate across the league, challenging traditional assumptions about quarterback valuation, roster flexibility, and risk-reward calculations. Even within league circles, the chatter about Darnold's potential impact has prompted analysts to revisit his career trajectory, debating whether Cleveland's environment could finally unlock the consistency that has eluded him. Conversations hint at a nuanced evaluation, weighing prior injuries, offensive line quality, and surrounding talent, while considering whether coaching adjustments could leverage his strengths effectively. Rumors suggest that the Browns' front office has emphasized patience, intending to give Darnold time to acclimate, regain rhythm, and demonstrate progress before making any definitive judgments. Fans continue to create speculative content online, from mock interviews to projected stat lines, fueling an ongoing narrative that blends hope, skepticism, and fascination. The overarching sentiment is that while nothing is guaranteed, Cleveland's move represents a calculated bet on upside, one that could either pay off handsomely or simply serve as a temporary solution in a position that has long been defined by unpredictability and high stakes. As preseason approaches, the intensity of speculation is only increasing, with insiders teasing glimpses of training sessions, film study routines, and informal scrimmages where Darnold's performance is being carefully scrutinized. Observers suggest that each practice rep carries amplified significance, potentially shaping depth charts, determining playtime allocation, and influencing broader team strategies. Social media platforms have become virtual war rooms, with fans analyzing tendencies, reviewing past highlights, and constructing elaborate scenarios to predict outcomes. Rumors indicate that coaching discussions are ongoing, with attention paid not only to skill execution but also to leadership presence, decision-making under pressure, and adaptability to evolving game plans. Amidst the swirl of chatter, one theme dominates. Darnold's signing, though understated in headline appeal, has ignited a narrative rich with uncertainty, excitement, and intrigue, highlighting Cleveland's potential willingness to experiment and hinting at a story that could evolve into one of the offseason's most talked-about developments. In sum, the buzz surrounding Sam Darnold's arrival in Cleveland is emblematic of a larger trend in the NFL, where teams are increasingly willing to explore unconventional approaches to roster construction, particularly at quarterback. Rumors suggest the Browns' management views this move as both a safety net and a strategic opportunity, balancing low financial risk with the potential for meaningful impact. Conversations in media circles highlight the dual narrative: a quarterback seeking redemption and a franchise experimenting with calculated alternatives to traditional high-cost signings. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike are locked into a continuous cycle of speculation, examining every piece of information from contract nuances to practice observations, teasing out what might be real versus conjecture. If the whispers hold any weight, Darnold's presence could subtly but significantly reshape Cleveland's quarterback dynamics, influencing not only team performance but also league-wide approaches to managing talent, risk, and opportunity, leaving everyone eagerly awaiting the first snap to see whether this gamble pays dividends or merely becomes another chapter in a long, unpredictable NFL saga. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!